Hello, everyone. I'm Sohaila Bana from West Contra Costa Fire Safe Council. I'm very glad to have with us tonight Danielle Cagan from AAA, the Vice President of Communication and External Affairs. Excuse me if I'm not saying the title right, Danielle, please.
Hi.
You have the floor. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing with us everything about the insurance policies, about wildfire safety, how we can
Mhm.
our policies. Please,
Um,
may I ask everyone to please mute yourselves? Thank you.
so I actually, first of all, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I love the conversation leading into this and hearing everybody's interest and passion about making their home more resilient to wildfire. I do have a slide presentation. It's not letting me share it right now. It says that's disabled. Are
Uh,
you able
you sh-
to change
yeah, you
that?
should be able to do it now.
Oh, now I can. Okay. Okay, great. So what I am going to do is talk about a variety of things. Let me pull up. This is my presentation. So, hello, I'm Danielle. I'm with CSAA Insurance Group. So we offer AAA branded insurance in 23 states plus Washington, D.C. And we're the third largest homeowners insurance company in California. And so I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. What I'm going to talk us through a little bit is, for those who might not know who we are, just a couple of slides on who we are, and then talk about the insurance crisis and how we got here and what the path is to get us out of it. And then what we're doing as an insurance company to help address risk and wildfires, and then also what you could do. So that's kind of my path here. I'm not going to be able to, talk about any specific things about any individual homes or anything like that. I'm not an underwriter. I'm just a spokesperson for the wildfire resilience part of things. But if anybody has any questions, you see my email address here. I have it at the end as well, and I'm happy to look into things individually for anybody who has any specific questions. Mm-hmm. So CSAA Insurance Group, we are a AAA insurer. We offer auto, home, other personal lines of insurance. We are based here in Contra Costa County. So we're headquartered in Walnut Creek, and we are not publicly traded. That's a differentiator from us from other insurance companies. We exist to support AAA members. We don't have to pay money back to shareholders or anything like that. Our purpose is we help members and communities prevent, prepare for, and recover from life's uncertainties with care and compassion. I would say, we do a great job helping people recover after events. We help people prepare for, and we're working to get better on the prevention and really understand what helps people prevent things such as wildfires. So transitioning into the California insurance market, the California insurance market is in a crisis. I don't have to tell you that. You're probably experiencing it, your friends, your neighbors, family members. Insurance companies have been backing out of the California market entirely or struggle to be profitable and are restricting the way that they are underwriting properties. With fewer companies offering insurance, it's harder to find insurance and to keep insurance. And the backstop is the FAIR plan. It is the insurer of last resort in the state of California. It is not a standalone policy. You need to purchase that plus a wraparound. It's called a companion endorsement that covers things that aren't related to fire. As of January, what I'm seeing here, it's actually covered up a little bit. Let me hide this. The FAIR plan's been increasing dramatically and far beyond what is healthy for the market and is sustainable long term. So how did we get here? It's a crisis that just didn't happen overnight. It's been going on and building to this point for a long time. I'm going to touch on a variety of factors. The first is the regulatory environment. Some of you may have been around long enough or lived in California long enough to remember Prop 103, which passed in 1988 with 51% of the vote. And it set up a regulatory framework that includes a Department of Insurance, requiring insurance companies to make filings. It created an intervenor process, which There are nonprofit organizations that will intervene on behalf of consumers, and they will fight rate increases. But the insurance companies need to pay for them to be doing that, and it slows down the process of addressing needed rates. I can tell you that if insurance companies felt like they could make money in California, they would continue to write insurance in California. Uh, the challenge is, the risks are increasing, they're changing, and many companies feel like they can't charge adequate rate for the risk. And there have been
We
excuse
cannot
a lot
me.
write this.
I'm
oh,
sorry, Daniel.
yeah,
We're seeing two slides overlaid. Is that meant to be that way? It's artistic presentation or?
Could you
no.
refresh perhaps? There.
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I did there. I just touched the button. You can see it now?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for letting me know. So, talked about the regulatory environment, inflation. All of us are experiencing it when we go to the store or need to purchase anything. The insurance industry, particularly home construction material costs and labor costs, the inflation there has far exceeded what it has in other areas. The numbers I've seen, and they're a couple years old, was a 30 to 35% increase in home construction materials and labor costs since the start of the pandemic. So dramatic increases there that have made it more expensive to provide insurance. And then climate change. Scientists have been warning about this for many, many years. Sadly, we have not, as a society, been doing a good job in recognizing the impacts of that. And it's not just about wildfire. Wildfire is part of it because what scientists are saying that climate change is going to cause is more extremes, more extreme heat, more extreme cold, more extreme rain, more extreme drought. Drought, of course, affects wildfires for sure. And then if you have extreme heat after it, it creates a condition that's very susceptible to wildfire. But it extends beyond wildfire. I don't know about you, but it seems like every winter now we're hearing about another atmospheric river. And it's atmospheric river after atmospheric river after atmospheric river. Well, what happens in those is they're usually heavy rainfall. They're often accompanied by wind. When you have rain, repeated rain with wind, you have trees toppling into houses, toppling into cars, fences blowing over, and the accumulation of those smaller claims have had a significant impact. And then reinsurance. I don't know if many of you have heard about reinsurance, but reinsurance is insurance for insurance companies. So I'm going to use an analogy here to help make you help make it a little more understandable. So when you insure your home, usually you pick a deductible. Let's just say it's $1,000. Above that, the insurance company will kick in. So you pay that $1,000, and if your claim is beyond that, the insurance money kicks in. Well, that's similar to what insurance companies do to distribute risk. So our deductible, it's not called that, but our deductible might be 250 million or 300 million. And beyond that, reinsurance kicks in. So it's an important part of allowing insurers to be able to continue to write business, particularly in riskier areas. The challenge is reinsurers are global. So they're seeing the impacts, not just in California, but they're seeing the impacts of a flood in Europe, a wildfire in Australia, or whatever it may be. And they're getting, a little cautious, particularly after repeated wildfires. And what they're doing is they're charging more money, and they're making it harder to, potentially, I can't speak for all insurers, but you can imagine they're asking a lot more questions to make sure that they are offering the right prices and understand the risk. Those are three big categories. There are other things that are coming into play right now. More homes are being built in risky areas. You have aging power infrastructure, although PG&E has been doing a lot of work to modernize and upgrade their infrastructure. Inadequate forest management. More focus is being paid on that right now, but there's still some opportunities. Low participation in home and community mitigation. I applaud you all for being here, wanting to learn more. Not everybody's in that same place. Community preparedness and being prepared for response. What we've seen for some of the earlier big fires in the last decade or so is that if communities aren't prepared to evacuate and their communication systems aren't great, law enforcement and fire personnel are doing what's most important, which is evacuation. Life safety is number one. We believe they should be doing that. That is absolutely, I'm not suggesting they don't, but the more prepared a community is to evacuate, the sooner fire departments can get to actually fighting the fire. And then last but not least, fair plan assessments, which I'll touch on a little bit more later. I know I just threw a lot on you there and I can't see the chat. Does anybody have any questions so far?
I don't see any
Will
questions.
we have a chance to ask questions later?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
And maybe I'll even get your thoughts or catch it there. So the question is, what's being done? So the California Department of Insurance has developed a sustainable insurance strategy, and it took a while, but they finalized regulations in 2024. The reason I put finalized in quotes here is that there still are some models that we're awaiting to really be able to understand, rates and filings and things like that. Two key provisions that I want to highlight. 49 states in the US allow catastrophe modeling and reinsurance costs to be factored into rates. California is the exception. So the two of the provisions is that catastrophe modeling, in the past, you had to look back 20 years, and that was what you could consider the risk to be. Well, we know the last 20 years is not indicative of the future 20 years, particularly with the trajectory we're on right now. And reinsurance, insurance companies, I mentioned that reinsurance is a concern. Prices are going up, and it can be challenging to get reinsurance. California does not allow insurers to factor that into pricing. So again, going back to the issue that insurance companies can't necessarily get adequate premium to be able to write insurance. So in exchange for that, the sustainable insurance strategy requires insurers to write in distressed areas. So they've set goals of if insurance companies want to be able to use catastrophe modeling and reinsurance, they need to write a certain percentage of business in areas that are distressed. So that was all well and good. That was the end of December, and then January hit. Tragic LA wildfires. I know you've all seen the statistics and understand what this means. Horrible tragedy, and including 30 fatalities, tens of thousands of acres lost, and the economy in LA and the state of California is going to be impacted for a long time. Insurance companies have estimated insured losses of between $30 and $50 billion. As of 3/5, insurers have paid $12.1 billion of that. So at this early stage, largely that is for additional living expenses. So enabling people to live somewhere else, paying for their hotel, their new rental unit, new apartment, whatever it may be, as well as immediate costs of the contents that were lost in the home. The rebuilding is paid out as people rebuild. And then on top of that, on February 11th, the California Fair Plan requested a $1 billion assessment of the state's insurers. So let me tell you a little bit about how the California Fair Plan works. It's different than an insurance company. As an insurance company, we have money in reserve that we have available so that when there's a catastrophe, we can pay our claims. And beyond that, we go to our reinsurers. Well, the California Fair Plan works more on a cash in, cash out basis. So when there's a major wildfire, such as what we experienced in Los Angeles, they use their cash on hand, any reinsurance that they may have purchased. They have bonds, loans, lines of credit, whatever other financial instruments they've already prearranged. And if they still don't have enough money, they do an assessment of the insurance industry. and they did their first $1 billion worth of assessments. And basically, what that is they went out to insurance companies, and based on the size of their business, their book of business in the state of California, they sent them a bill. Ours was $68 million of that we're paying to help ensure that those that are part of the California Fair Plan will receive the claims and the financial support that they deserve. So after the LA fires, the California Department of Insurance and the legislature
Sorry, we
offered
have the
new
same problem with the
proposals.
slides. Could you fix it so we see only one slide? Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. It looks good on my end, so please let me know if it gets funky again. Does it do it just when I change, or is it when it's static?
Yeah, when you change, it doesn't change completely sometimes.
Oh, okay, that's strange.
It's been okay until just a moment ago.
What's that?
It's been fine until just a moment ago.
Oh, okay, good. So the California Department of Insurance and Legislature have proposed a variety of new legislative proposals, including some incentives for home hardening, consumer protections, and doing more regulatory review of insurance companies. I've focused a lot on the incentivizing home hardening. We have not seen any of these pass yet, but they are under consideration by the state legislature. Is this slide okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to transition now. So that was kind of the groundwork of the environment we're in. How did we get here? What are people doing about it? And now I'm going to transition a little bit to at CSAA. Our mission is to help members and communities prevent, prepare for, and recover from life's uncertainties, as I mentioned before. This is what we are doing as part of that. Our current states, well, first of all, we're continuing to write new business. Properties need to still meet our underwriting criteria, but unlike some, other insurance companies who said, no more, we're not writing, it doesn't matter where you are, we are continuing to write some business. And we were among the first to offer discounts for wildfire mitigation. Our current discount is two elements: fortify your community and fortify your residents. So we offer up to 5% off of the full policy for those that are in a FireWise community. For those that have taken action on their home, up to 15%, depending on what they have done. So to get the maximum amount there, you would need to have a non-combustible structure and a 0 to 5 foot non-combustible zone. And then beyond that, there's a menu of other options. Unfortunately, we haven't seen the interest that we thought we would in getting the discounts. And at the same time, the Department of Insurance has passed a regulation saying that instead of saying you need to do certain things as a must do and then others are optional, that they would rather see smaller percentages. So 0.5% for doing X, 1% for doing Y, 0.75% for this or whatever, and really work to add it up. So we have a pending filing right now. The pending filing has been for a couple of years, I believe. And what we are proposing is that we'll retain the FireWise discount, but we'll align with other insurers and science. So previously we did it off the full policy. We will be focusing on the wildfire portion of a policy. And for individual homes, there will be it'll be more accessible, having a menu of options, which, we are hoping will get people to do more things over time. Additionally, we have been doing a small number of non-renewals. I hope nobody on this call has been impacted by that. But for anyone that is, we started, I don't remember which month, but earlier this year, we started a new policy that we will rescind any non-renewals if the homeowner gets a wildfire prepared home certification. So I'll talk more about that in a little bit. We will give people up to a year to get it. So if you get it done before your policy expires, that's fantastic. If you need more time and you end up going to the FAIR plan, we will take you back. And it can be either base level or plus. They have 2 different levels. And we are also reaching out proactively with phone calls to policyholders before the letters go out, trying to offer support and information so they can decide if this is something that they want to do. And if they do go through the wildfire prepared home certification and they maintain that certification and they maintain other policy conditions, so, you have to maintain your roof, you have to pay your bills, that type of thing, we will renew for a minimum of 3 years. Still, sadly, we are continuing to see more and more images like this. You've seen them on the news, homes that have been burned out. The sign there, typically after a catastrophe like this, we send claims adjusters out. They inspect the property and they do leave a sign there so that anybody that goes by, and particularly the homeowner, knows that the insurance company has been there, that we're here to help, the phone number to call if they have questions, if for some reason they lost it, don't know how to reach out, etc. I've had some people say it's been very meaningful to them to just feel like when they come, they know that the insurance company is there and is able to help. However, what could we do to instead see more images like this? The home on the left is a home that survived the Pacific Palisades fire. They had recently undergone a renovation. As part of that, they took on some features that were more wildfire resilient, and it saved the home. They're going to have some soot to clean up. They're going to have some smoke damage, but by and large, the home has been saved. On the right side, you have a home that survived the fires in Lahaina. And you look around, there's nothing that survived. And people say, oh, well, that's a strange fluke. But it's not. That home, while they didn't know that they were in a wildfire area, they didn't expect wildfire, they did some things to their home for other reasons that ended up protecting them. They did have a metal roof, but they also had some issues with termites. And so they put rock 5 feet around their home to try to prevent more termite issues. And that 0 to 5 foot non-combustible zone helped save their home. So what we're doing as an insurance industry is where many of us, including CSAA, we're members of a group called the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. And they have this really cool building in the Carolinas, a giant building, and in it they build buildings and they test what things work, what actually does prevent a wildfire. Does it matter if it's 4 feet from a house? What about 5 feet? What about this window? What about this gutter? What about this fencing, etc.? And they test it. And as a result, they came up with 3 certifications. One is a base, which is more for existing homes to retrofit. Plus is for new builds, which is the easiest and best time to do wildfire prepared home. And they just announced literally a couple of weeks ago a community standard. KB Homes in Escondido did a community-based build, and they built it all to this community standard. So every home was built to the standard. So the highlights of that base certification are the 0 to 5 foot non-combustible zone. That means, it sounds like this is somewhat of a sophisticated group, but I'll go through it anyway. It means nothing within 0 to 5 feet, basically. So no vegetation, even green plants can start fire. No bark, no wood bark. It's like putting matchsticks next to your home. No wooden fences, just really nothing that can burn. And from the exterior standpoint, you need a Class A rated roof. The good news is that more than 90% of homes in California are already Class A fire rated roofs. Those that aren't are reaching their age where they're not good anymore. So they're being replaced naturally. And as part of California standards, it needs to be a Class A roof. Vents, replacing the vents in your home. Homes breathe. Those vents can allow embers to come in. Or you can either replace it with a fancy wildfire resistant vent or just add wire mesh that is 1/8 or finer wire mesh over it to prevent the embers from getting in. Gutters, vinyl gutters aren't good. Metal gutters are important. And if you don't want the hassle of having to clean your gutters, getting gutter covers is valuable too. And then a 6-inch vertical clearance from the ground around your home. So the bottom 6 inches, if you go around your home, making sure that's non-combustible. Maintaining decks in the yard, and then there's more details at Wildfire Prepared Home. What I'd like to do is actually show you a demonstration. You'll see the image here on the left is a typical building in California, a typical home that's got the wood fence up next to it. It's got some plants near it, etc. And on the right, you have a wildfire prepared home. You'll notice the 0 to 5 foot around it is clear. The fence is metal. The plants and vegetation are further out. So with that, let me go. Now, there's no sound to it, so I am just going to, oops, I need to go up because there's no sound to it, so I'll just talk through it. It's 1 minute. It's a short video. But what you'll see at the beginning is there's firefighters that are taking torches. Oh, it's pausing. Can you see it? Is it moving for you?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. I make it a little bit bigger. So you'll see they took little torches and it simulates embers hitting the property. And so the home on the left, you can see the bark has been ignited. It is starting to ignite the fence. The fence is leading into the eave. And usually this is where we see the gutters fall. It looks like this demonstration might not have gutters. But you can see how it's starting to hit the house, going up in. Soon it's going to break the window. And then you have a fully involved fire 11 minutes in from when that ember hits. So it shows pretty dramatically what happens when those embers hit your home. By comparison, you'll see the there. You'll see the fans in the front that simulates what happens in many of these large storms. You have the winds that are hitting. So let me escape here and go back to my presentation. So that gives you a sense of what the wildfire prepared home can do, the impact of it. I've seen that demonstration several times in a variety of places, and always the same thing happens. But it does show that you can make a difference by addressing the vulnerabilities. And those embers are crafty. A majority of fires in the event of a wildfire, majority of fires are started by embers, and embers will find the most vulnerable place in your house. So if you do one thing but don't do another, find the other one. Those embers, many of them come. It can be fast. It can be furious. So if you do the non-combustible 0 to 5 foot, but you don't do the vents, they can get in the vents, etc. Or hit the fence and get stuck there. Now, some people do have some concerns around what it would look like to have a 0 to 5 foot non-combustible zone, that it's going to look ugly, unattractive, etc. And so we reached out to UC Berkeley and their landscape design class there and sponsored a contest. And the results of that was, and IBHS partnered with us. The result was 8 ready-to-use designs of homes to help spark interest and ideas of what to do with your landscaping in a way that would be wildfire resistant. So there's a QR code there, or you can go to wildfireprepared.org, and it's featured even in the top banner. So from CSAA, we're doing a variety of things. I mentioned that we have funds that we have set aside that are policyholder funds that we wait until there's a catastrophe, and we use that to send out checks. We are responsible for providing adequate return, so the fiduciary responsibility of managing that. So we did do some investments in a forest resilience bond, which enables forests to be managed more proactively, and have found that to be a socially responsible. It helps reduce wildfire risk, and at the same time, we do get a return on that investment. Similarly, we helped create and provide funds to support a wildfire innovation fund that the state of California matched. And so they're investing in projects that take the the piles of slash and debris from forests and use them, help support beneficial uses. We supported a climate resiliency challenge. We help support communities that are looking cross jurisdictionally at solving wildfire, including the East Bay. It can be hard as an elected official to be saying the best investment of our tax dollars is to support the neighboring community. But sometimes that's true, right? If you're providing funds in a neighboring area that can reduce the risk to your area, it makes sense. And so city and county lines and that type of thing. And so the regional approach is a valuable one. I mentioned landscape design. We're doing some grants, and then we're doing our own work to be environmentally sensitive and reduce our greenhouse emissions. And with that, my conclusion, then we'll talk questions, is, in summary, the California market is really complex. It's not an easy, it hasn't been easy to get us to where we are now. It's not going to be easy, and it's going to take some time to get out of where we are now. But there is some progress that's underway to help stabilize the market. And a key thing moving forward is going to be home and community mitigation. The world is changing in ways that are going to require us all to be more resilient with our homes. And then we're continuing to be committed to serving our customers and to helping members, particularly our existing insureds, if they're going through and getting the wildfire prepared home designation. It's not an easy designation to get, but it is meaningful. It does reduce risk. And we believe that even if you're in a high risk area, that it's still a good investment and a good customer for us because you've taken those steps. So with that, I am going to turn off the share. And, oh, no, it's wanting to share here. Let me go back to I work more on Teams than on this. So let me get to the right spot here. Is this the right on here? Oh, there we go. Stop sharing. Okay.
Thank you very much, Danielle. We really appreciate it.
Did it stop sharing?
Yes.
Okay. So let me just get back to you. Okay, now I can see you. So you have some context. I know at the beginning of the conversation, there were questions about fire blankets and foam capsules and all of that kind of stuff. We are, lots of companies, there are a lot of entrepreneurial people that are working on new ideas to reduce risk. As an insurance company, we are looking to IBHS and those standards and their testing. And so anybody that comes to us with new technologies and ideas, we're encouraging them to engage IBHS and to go through rigorous tests to really make sure that it does work and it does do what they say it's going to do. There are sometimes dependencies on things. So for example, there are people that have had like elaborate water systems, but if it's windy, the water might blow away, or you might not have access to water. It might fail like it has in several of the wildfires, or you might lose power. Power is often the first thing to go. So just really thinking through those, I would encourage you before you invest any dollars in it. And we do encourage everybody, all of those vendors, to work with the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety to get some rigorous testing done.
And could you tell for everyone what IBHS is? And
yeah, that's the organization that I mentioned before that does the wildfire prepared home standards. So it's the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. It's funded by the insurance industry, and we pay in. They have this building in I think it's South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, They have a building, and in it, they actually build structures and subject them to hurricane experiences, subject them to wildfire experiences, and different, winds, different embers. Like they test it all. They have a roof farm where they have different roof structure or different roof materials, and they expose them to different sunlight and humidity and other things to really understand what roof materials are more resilient. They have a standard for roofs for those that live in areas with wind events like hurricanes or tornadoes. So they test all of it and do a really, really great job.
Thank you. I have one question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether
Excuse me, you
So
caught
you-
me choking on some soup while I'm listening to a Zoom thing on.
I'm sorry,
Marion, we hear
Marianne,
you.
I
There we go.
muted you.
That's okay.
So, yeah, my question is about making exterior of the building non-combustible. Are windows included? Because they're very expensive and practically not possible for many of us.
Windows are included in the plus designation, but not the base. So we acknowledge either of those in our things. So if you're doing a rebuild, if you're replacing windows, unfortunately, I had to replace some windows recently. I said, I want dual pane tempered glass. The best time to do it is when you're needing to do it. It is not required though for the base standard.
Okay, so that the wildfire home certification, we can get it with existing windows.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Are there other questions for Danielle?
I would like to ask about non-renewal.
Yeah.
It comes like lightning and hits, well, a friend and a neighbor recently from
Sorry.
AAA. And is there a way to, well, before that decision is made about which policies will not be renewed, do the people making that decision can they be influenced by all the things, in my case, that I've done to mitigate fire danger? And if so, is there a way to notify them of what I've done?
Yeah, I would always encourage people to notify their insurance company of the mitigation work that's been done. You may be eligible for discounts. As I mentioned before, we're kind of in this, we have this one discount thing, and we're working on getting approval for another one. So I would definitely encourage you to contact your insurance company to make sure that you're receiving maximum discounts that you can receive. In terms of influencing, I can't speak for all carriers, but from CSAA, if are they being non-renewed for wildfire risk? Or is it for something else?
CSAA is my company.
Oh, okay. Well, if anyone with AAA, if you secure the wildfire prepared home certification, we will rescind any non-renewals. So we're encouraging people to get started on that. Don't wait till you get a non-renewal.
I don't want to wait. Is there a way? I've cut down 8 trees. I've put up a new deck that won't spread fire. I'm working on my fences. Is there a way to make AAA aware of what I've done so far?
Yeah, you can talk to your agents. They're probably at this point, you haven't done the 0 to 5 foot, or you have?
I have, yeah.
Okay. And do you have any unclosed eaves that you know of, or vents?
I'm putting in Vulcan vents.
Okay.
But the big thing is I've cut down 8 trees and built a new deck so far, and I'm working on the fence next. And
kudos to you. Thank you for taking
expensive,
it seriously. It is expensive. Yeah.
I don't mind because it makes me safer, but I would like to know how do I notify AAA of the things I've done so far?
I would contact your agent, or if you want, I can have a separate conversation with you and have somebody give you a call back. The main thing there's the discounts, but then if you want to make sure that you are keeping your insurance. It sounds like you're doing all the right things and you're working towards that. Just making sure that if there's anything else that you can or should be doing to get that designation as a wildfire prepared home. If you get the designation, then we rescind any non-renewals and we will insure you for a minimum of 3 years, assuming you meet all the other policy conditions.
Can I get the certification in advance of being
Yeah,
nominated?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
I would like to have an opportunity to speak to you because the agents have not helped me. I've tried.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I will get you some information on that. And once there's a website, wildfireprepared.org. I had it up earlier. Is it?
It's in the chat, folks.
Oh, okay. Oh, I haven't even looked at the chat. Okay. Yeah. So, yes. So Wildfire Prepared, if you go to that, it has a quiz that you can take and it will tell you what you need to do. And then you can schedule an inspection. We also are working right now with a company we just started because we're hearing from customers. We're really trying to understand why more people aren't taking the actions that you all are talking about here. And one of the things that people are just like, they don't know where to get started. They don't know what to do. And so we've partnered with a company that will do a virtual inspection and just tell you what else you need to do. And they can also refer to vendors if needed. If you want to do it yourself, that's great. Some people aren't handy. I'm one of those. But the company is called Madronis, Madro. Madronis, Madronus. And if you Google them, or I can find it and add it to the chat. Madronis does do inspections in person, or I think they have I think it's $149 for a virtual one. They walk around the house with you and outside and will provide guidance on what you need to do.
I'm sorry, but our employee fire inspector does the same thing. So why should we pay them? Do they do anything extra?
The fire inspector will identify certain things. The certification, and I love our fire service and I love our fire marshals, et cetera. And we're looking at it from the insurance perspective, and at this point, we're not accepting the various inspections by various other entities. So Madronis is able to do it, and so is IBHS. They can send somebody out to do those inspections.
And how much does it cost?
The virtual one for Madronis, I think, is $149. Having somebody come to your home is about $400 or so. And they come out, they do the inspection. So IBHS requires you to go through a checklist and say that you've done all of these things, because there's nothing more frustrating having somebody come out and say, well, you didn't do it. Or you missed this thing or whatever, but they'll work with you and tell you if it's just a couple things that you're missing. But it's much easier if you have done everything that they would be expecting. They come out, they take a look, they verify and give you the certificate. And at that point, you share it with us, and we will make sure that you are that it's registered in your account.
Thank you. And could you also elaborate on the concept of community hardening? And I saw a question here about
Excuse me, I have a question.
Firewise community, they answered, I guess. Marilyn put the link to Firewise. And if you have questions about Firewise, you can email me. I'll explain. Maybe you're not on my mailing list. Please join the mailing list. I tell you everything about it. But what is community hardening? Does it mean like the majority of homes need to be?
So there are three ways that fires start or burn homes. The most common one is embers. So I touched on that before. And a lot of the home hardening work is related to embers, making sure embers don't get into your home. The second, and I'm not sure how much of this, but some of it is radiant heat. So a home next to you, if you're close to your neighbor, the heat, just the heat from that can cause your house to catch on fire. And then the third is actually direct flames. So if, there's direct flame on your house, that can catch your home on fire. So it is important, just doing this work yourself is important. It gives firefighters a fighting chance for your home to protect it. And having your neighbors do it, having the community do it provides much more resiliency for the community. So the IBHS has come up with community standards where they require, a certain distance between houses. Don't quote me, but I want to say it's 10 feet between houses and, information on structures and things like that. So that when you build it to standard as a full community, you have added protection from wildfire. I am looking here at the different notes. So Southern California, why are people in Northern California paying for Southern California issues? Well, I understand the concern and the question. I think the reality is we're all in this together, and that's just the way the programs are designed, that there will be likely some impacts, just like we're all going to be impacted by the fact that Southern California is not going to have the same tax base. They're not going to have, all sorts of things that will impact all of us. There have been news articles about flying a drone over people's homes and canceling without notification, the ability to correct, et cetera, et cetera. So we just to clarify, I can't speak for other insurance companies. We do not fly drones, but we do purchase images from companies that do satellites. So different but similar to Google technology. And so it gives us the ability to see what shape your home is in. In our policies, there is the ability to do inspections, and we purchase those images. Humans look at them. They make a decision of whether it's an area of concern. And if it is, our customers have the ability to correct those and to see the images. Wildfire prepared home, very few homes. Yeah, that's true. I do know one home that went to the plus level. But other than that, I don't see a lot of plus level for retrofits. And the base level is worth striving. Thank you.
What is base level? What is plus level? What are you referring to?
Yeah, so that's the IBHS standards, the wildfire prepared home for individual homes. There's the community standards, but for individual home, they have the base and they have the plus. And the base, I can go back. I had on the slides just what's required for the base. The plus is intended to be more for new builds, but I have seen some homes get retrofitted to the plus standard for sure. But it does, to the question that you had earlier, the plus does require the dual pane tempered glass windows. It does require some added features that may be more expensive. At a rebuild, it rebuilds from the ground, it's a little easier because it's just an incremental spend. But when you're having to replace, that's a whole different thing. So CAL FIRE released a much expanded approved fire resistant building materials. I'll have to look at that. I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, that's what contractors need to be looking at.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So like you were saying, there are a lot of innovative products out there now. This is the official CAL FIRE list, and I think they're planning to update it twice a year.
Oh, fantastic. Good to know. I made a copy of it so I can go look at it afterwards. It doesn't mean necessarily that the insurance industry will support it because we do rely on that testing. But certainly if CAL FIRE is recommending it, that is a good stamp of approval as you're considering what to do to harden your home.
Excuse me, can I have a question? Good evening, Danielle, and thank you so much for some information. Recently, I bought a new house, and we have our old house has a AAA insurance, and we
Mhm.
are the member of the AAA. And when I asked for get the home insurance for our new property, when they check our area, they said you are in the red zone, fire zone, and we can't provide home insurance. So they didn't ask, did you update your house, like change the
Mhm.
gate or cut the
Yeah.
tree or something? Just said we can't accept.
Yeah, yeah, we are writing new insurance, but not universally. So there are some areas where we already write insurance. Our focus has been on our existing customers and their existing homes and helping them keep their insurance. We have not yet been writing new business for homes that have the certification, just because we're still learning as we go and understanding what the risks are and making sure that we can continue to get reinsurance and continue to support the existing policies that we have. So I'm sorry that you're not able to get insurance with us. If you're not able to get it elsewhere, we do offer the FAIR plan, and we offer the companion endorsement, which enables you to get the full policy. And potentially in the future, there may be opportunities that we would look to bring on some of those policies, but at this point, we're just not at that point right now.
Thank you.
Mhm. So looking at the thing here, if I spray wooden structures with fire retardant, Class A. Monique, I'm not sure. I don't know.
I'm sorry,
as
could you repeat the question? It's being recorded. Other people want to know.
Oh, yes, of course. If I spray wooden structures, yeah, thank you for the reminder. If I spray wooden structures with fire retardant spray for fabric, wood, thatch, and more, Class A flame retardant spray, EcoSafe, NFPA 701 ASTM E84, or something similar to it, am I more likely to be able to keep my insurance? This spray repels fire. I do not know the answer to that. I know mostly, I can't speak for other carriers, but for us, we're really relying on the IBHS standards. And some of these other technologies, they may be good. They may not. I just don't know if they're, if they meet the standards. And what we want to make sure is that people are taking the steps that they need to based on the science, and we don't want to give people a false sense of security if we don't really know if those products are in fact going to work in the event of a wildfire. I see somebody put the information in for Madronas. Thank you. So it's madronas.com. There's information on what the costs would be for that. I see Firewise Community. It looks like Marilyn explained that. Madronas is AAA new policies. Yeah, at this point, we are writing some new policies, but you have to meet our other underwriting criteria. And right now, in higher wildfire risk areas, that is less likely to be the case. But if you're interested, reach out, have a conversation with a AAA agent and see what they can do for you. There's a notice here, California companies by law must provide minimum 75 days notice. Absolutely. And we work to provide even more than that and do proactive calls as possible for anybody that is going to be in that position. Any other question? I've been going through the chats. There may be questions that aren't.
Thank you for answering all the questions in the chat.
Sure.
We just have a few minutes left, and
Okay.
are there any last minute questions?
Yes, I have one.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You mentioned that the radiant heat from an adjoining building, from a neighbor's house, could actually ignite your house.
Yes.
So that means that if one house does their 5-foot clearance around the perimeter of their house, that might not be enough if the other neighbor hasn't done it as well.
Correct.
And then the issue of fencing comes in, because you're going to need to get some kind of cooperation from your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't even know who owns the property next door to you. So how to get in contact? Gee, I wish you'd cut this tree down. Oh, maybe we should replace our fence with a chain link instead of having this wooden fence.
Yeah.
So these are problems that I think we need to have some kind of resolution on. I don't even know how to contact the neighbor next door to me.
Well, maybe you can ask those questions from our fire chief who'll be joining us next week.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, maybe the city needs to start working on those issues. I don't know.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate everyone's time today, especially Danielle's. Thank you very much for joining us. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I hope if there is any breakthrough with insurance policies or anything, you let us know and join us again. Before you go, actually, I just remembered that I have one last question. You said there's 10% discount if I take care of my home personally, an additional 5%, so a total of 20%, or it's overlap?
Up to, if you do all of the things that are part of that, yeah, up to 20% off.
Okay. And is it 20% off the increased rate, which is really very high, or the regular rate? Increased rate.
The whatever rate you're paying.
Oh,
So after the increase, yeah.
okay. All right. Very good.
Yep.
Thank you very much, everyone. If you want to join the mailing list, please send me an email. I'm going to put my email address here. And, sorry, before I close, I just want to make sure everybody has my email address, soheilabana@gmail.com. I really appreciate your time, Danielle. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everybody, for your passion on this topic. It's a passion of mine as well. And we've just got to figure out how to get the market fixed and to help bring stability back, and at the same time, reduce risk and help save everyone in your property. So thank you.
Thank you. I was so lucky just meeting you by accident at the conference and invited you, and you graciously said yes. Thank you. I'll send the recording to you. And insurance companies in their advertising could be discussing these kind of things, so people have it in front of them while they're watching the commercials.
We're working on that. How do we educate people more? So hopefully you'll be seeing more on that soon.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks so much, Danielle. Have a good night.
Thank
You
you.
too. Bye-bye.